All right. TikTok, are you here? TikTok, are you there? Anybody out there? I'm gonna have to bounce between these two windows. All right. I see. Ooh, we're going to have to make that bigger. Stand by. We can do that. Gulf Sail, Cowboy Lawn, Shirt Cocker. What? Shirt Cocker? There we go. That might be a little big. Okay. So I really need to figure out if I can add a buffer to that so that it's not. Mother trucker. Thanks for being here. How am I reading this with VR on? Yeah. Get her spun up. Okay, real quick. This is what we're going to do. We're in the, uh-oh. What did I just do? You're going to highlight your message. Okay. I have my cursor back here. So we are in the Airbus H160. We are checking out a new scenery pack. This is the Bora Bora improvement pack. And we're going to try out a new mission. I just posted a YouTube video. It went live this morning at like 7 a.m. And it's about the mission system for the civilian and luxury variants. So over here, there is a sample Bora Bora tour mission. And I'm going to have to bounce between the EFB Connect and this tour. But before we start that, I'm going to get the helicopter started up. And somebody asked how I'm able to see all of the chat. I'm live on Twitch and TikTok. Same username for both. And I have a tool called Social Stream. I think. Social Stream. It lets you combine multiple chat windows or multiple chat sources into one window. So I'm able to take the overlay that generates and then load that little web page in one of the tools that comes with the H160 called EFB Connect. I used to do this with a custom kind of coded thing, but this is what we're left with, and this is what we're doing now. So I'm going to run through here and get us started up. So battery on, generator 1 and 2 on. We'll turn on our DC ground power unit. And the emergency generator needs to go on. We're waiting for a power up test to say okay. EPU is connected. Engine 1 and engine 2 say fail because they're not running. We will go back to the startup document just to show you guys this option here. So we're waiting for a power up test. Okay. Check. Yes. All right. Radio altimeter 1 and 2. FMS 1 and 2 are on. Lamp test.
Audio test.
These are good. These are good. Jump in here. Don't think we're going to need those, but pull up the map on this one.
TAWS. System test okay.
It's doing the TAWS test. I'm going to actually inhibit the audible warning for each of those. So map is up. Lamp test is off. All right, so message list, we're going to check and acknowledge those. Everything that we see in there is what we would expect. FND page, everything here looks good. I'm going to verify my pressure, 30.42. heading and standby compass. So 1, 1, 4. And it looks like we're good there. Decision height and altitude. We'll say decision height of 100. 110. That's fine. All right, that's set. Fuel quantity, check. We should be fine. We're just flying around Bora Bora. All right, position. Emergency exit signs are armed. Signs are on. And we'll turn on our white one because it's daytime. Floats are off. Wipers are off. HTAWs on. Weather radar test and standby. We're good there. DMAP, check it as required. There's nothing that we're going to need to do here. But it's there. VMS page, check parameters. So we've got engine oil. These we would expect to be 0. 20C. Payload. Add some weight for the previous. Should be good. Oil levels, temp. Okay, aux pump on. I do not have controls. Standby. Need to fire up spad.next. While we're waiting for that to come up, let me jump back over here. What's my sim setup? CJ, I have actually have a full write-up about that. It's linked in my Discord, and I've got some wiki pages that have a full kind of account of everything that I have. But real quickly, 7800 X3D for the processor, 4090 graphics card, 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM, HP Reverb G2 headset, WinWing F16EX flight stick with an extension, Virpil pedals, Virpil collective, and that's everything that we're using today. Okay, these should be up. All right, so we've got pedals, collective, and cyclic. On to page 2. VMS page, MFD4, select. We'll go engine 1 to idle. Aux pump will go back to off. This will start. I'm going to hide this FPS counter because we don't need it. All right, 50%, that switches over to idle. We're seeing our engine oil, hydraulics come up. Engine 2 can come on. We got a good start for 1. Sorry, I just had to ban somebody. All right, let me get back to the other page here. Engine 1 and Engine 2 are started. Our ECS we can turn on if we have to. Looks like we're good there. Turn auto on. All right, DC GPU come off. gosh, Patrick, how dare you? Collective pitch minimum, cyclic and pedals, hands off, feet off, auto trim. All right, engaged, cut 2, on. Reset all of the bugs, make sure that gets turned back on. All right, so these are working good there. Pre-flight test. And we'll be ready to start our little tour operation. Pre-flight test is running, startup test is okay. AFCS off and then on, we're good there. And 3, some taxiing, 4 takeoff, we'll be good. You guys gotta remind me to lift my landing gear. I wonder if I can I? Ooh, I can scroll. This is gonna be great. CJ, yes. As much as I can have a proper sim setup. I spend most of my time lately flying helicopters. So, Deputy K9, thanks for being here. Welcome back. Good evening. Zachary Van Loo, this is Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Patrick. It is such a good helicopter. Adventure enthusiast. R squared. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Okay, startup test is okay. We're almost ready to switch over to that, but does MSFS have an AH-64DE? I do not think that there is one in the game. I have not seen any. Poppy Planes is here. We are flying the Airbus H160. It's the newest helicopter from High Performance Group. It's got wheels. Thanks everybody for all those follows. It is really, really good. We were talking in the Discord about that. What they learned going from the H145 to the H160 and kind of how native helicopter support versus what they had to shoehorn into the sim before. They were able to take a lot of that and learn from it. And the H160 is just so good from an initial release standpoint, and even the patches that they've done with it since then. So we're going to do this charter operations. This actually gives us a bunch of tour stuff, different waypoints and stuff like that. So we're going to try and follow this. The map in here is going to give us our route. I think it's going to load our waypoints in the nav-d map as well. But I'm going to say start the tour from here. So the idea with this is we're doing a charter operation. It's a mission system. We'll get a grade. The passengers that are here that signed up for this tour are going to have a satisfaction factor. And if we look at this, we've got waypoints that we're supposed to fly to. And we're just going to try this, look around, see what we can see from this location. Now, I don't think we have a timer. We do. It's a 30-minute flight. And then this shows us our satisfaction. So I'm going to have to bounce between chat and this. But yeah, it's different than the medevac stuff. But I'm excited for the medevac stuff to come to this as well. So I just switched the engines over to flight mode. The guards are locked. It says dispatch message. We'll acknowledge. And this is going to give us our our destination here. So we will disengage our parking brake and we'll start to taxi a little bit. We're on our way. We've got a 30-minute tour planned for our participants tonight. And while we're doing that, we get to enjoy some scenery here. So this is the Bora Bora improvement pack from Clifford Designs. This is actually the livery that he put together as well. And as we taxi out here, we'll jump back over to CJ Angler. Just join my Discord. Eventually going to get your own setup at your 64E pilot. Verbal just... I think it's verbal. Yeah, verbal. I could get a new collective head. They just came out or just released pre-order for the H64 collective, so you can have a one-to-one replica of the different stuff. I have flown the H64 a lot in DCS, but ended up switching over to Microsoft Flight Sim for most of the stuff that I've been flying, because we usually fly like the H145 doing the medevac and firefighting stuff, but this is the new helicopter from Height Performance Group. Got a little bit of a hill here, so let's see if we can add in some collective and continue our taxi. We are a little light on the wheels with this, but take it nice and slow here. I don't want to push this too far off the center. We are going to need this zoomed in much more. Alright, we're clear on the left and we're clear on the right. For those of you that are here on TikTok, I am streaming on Twitch and TikTok at the same time. So if you want a widescreen view, feel free to come on. So from here, we can actually just lift and take off. And the destination that we're headed for is off to our right, so we will turn out that way and run our way. So if you guys haven't flown the H160 or the H145, there's some videos that I put together. We're going to go landing gear up. We're actually going to lock our nose wheel and put our parking brake back on.
Twitch advertisements in their natural environment. While discerned by many, their existence is vital to our natural world.
So we are supposed to fly for these different destination points to show people different points along this route. And thanks for the reminder, trucker. I got the gear up. Let's take a look at, okay, so it gave us another point over here. So this script is actually pretty cool. You can do preloaded points like this, or you can say, just find some random spots for me to go to. And so the next visit that we're going to is an en route waypoint. So we keep ourselves on this track line. There we go. Trim release is released now. If we keep ourselves on this track line, come down on the collective a little bit. We don't need to gain too much altitude. We'll get to another spot, and eventually one of these will be like a stop and hover or land at a waypoint. And we've got 23 minutes left in the tour here. So assuming that this goes okay, these guys don't vomit in the back, we'll run another tour. This is the first time I've flown the route, so I'm not familiar with it yet, but it says I'm going too fast. So we'll pitch up a little bit, come down on the collective, slow our speed down, know what speed we're supposed to be flying this at, but okay, now we're turning to the right here. This is a great scenery though. All these different little huts and stuff like that are pretty awesome. The other thing that we can do, since we've got our nav set, is we can trigger the GPS, turn on our airspeed hold. We'll actually bring that speed up a little bit, and we'll cheat. So we can stay at 60 knots.
Caution, terrain.
And we're not way on course here. I don't know why that's not. Hey, now. We're going to disconnect that nav mode because it was trying to turn us around. Speaking of not having them vomit in the back. I don't know what's going on with this heading mode thing, but so I switched back to the HP Reverb G2. The next one's in route waypoint as well. So Aviator 100. Yeah, let me show the outside while we talk about this. This is the H160, and I'm flying in the HP Reverb G2. I actually just talked about this in my last YouTube video, but I got the Varjo Aero, and I love it, but when I'm trying to stream, I can't do it with it. It's too shaky. So there's a setting in OpenXR Toolkit that allows me to do some motion smoothing with the head movement. And when I wear the Varjo Aero, even though I have two different trackers mounted on the wall for it to get its 3D tracking from, it's so precise with the movement that it picks up like when my heart's beating and when I'm talking and move my head around. And with the Reverb G2, the HP Reverb G2, you can actually cut some of that you can cut some of the preciseness, I guess. It does some smoothing with it. So when I look around, you guys are seeing a smooth view, but you're not seeing the little shakes and stuff like that that normally come with it. Unless I purposely move my head like that. But I do really, really like it. And it's great to fly with, but it's not really good to stream with. Yeah, if you're looking for one to use just from the perspective of the experience that you'll get wearing it and using it, it's much more precise. The graphics are better. It actually runs on my system a little bit better with a higher frame rate than the HP Reverb G2. I have mine turned up pretty high from I'm gonna turn my heading hold off. We're gonna bank to the right here. It's very similar as far as how you control compared to the H145. The H135, there's no comparison between them. The flight model in these guys compared to the H135 it's way better. This one flies similar to the H145 as far as like using your trim release and your upper modes, your keybinds can actually all be mapped exactly the same. It just feels a little heavier, which is good. Try and keep us on our track line here for the next spot. But I love it. I mean, this is a great helicopter to fly, so don't get me wrong. I still like the 145 from the perspective of being able to do the medevac and stuff, but it's pretty cool. When the action pack comes to this, it'll be a day one buy. I think they've got some other stuff planned in addition to the... Holy shit, there's a whale just jumped out of the water right there. There it is again. There's another one. Somebody clip that. I don't have a clip button. I gotta finish mapping that again, but I had no idea that there was a whale that jumped out of the water there. That's probably why they planned the flight right along this path. Andrew did a good job putting this tour together. But some of these boats move. I think some of them have helipads on top of them, which is kind of cool because you can actually use like your GTC modes in these helicopters to like match the movement of the boats and come in and land on them. Maybe we'll try that in a little bit when we're done with the tour, but yeah, I mean, we've spent a lot of time streaming the H145, doing medevac missions and firefighting missions on Twitch and TikTok here, and the H160 is going to add so much. Oh yeah, you should have. There's stuff that moderators can do. Please change another view. Yeah, I'll show you guys the outside here. Oh yeah. I think you can do a yeah, you can make featured clips or something like that. So we missed this point by just a little bit, but I think we're going to be close enough. And now we're supposed to swing back around. So with disengage heading mode, I've got my trim release held. Take a nice easy bank, turn ourselves around. We should be crossing right over this island here to our right, but yes, you do. Yeah, you do need base stations with the Varjo Aero, which is one nice thing about the HP Reverb G2 is that you don't. I'm gonna bring our elevation up a little bit. I'm gonna cut right over this island here. And I went back to hands-on flying. I've still got my altitude hold and the indicated airspeed to hold on, but I took over, trim release is held, so look, because I don't know if we're supposed to climb over the mountain, but if we are, yeah, I think you were getting the rotor So this one says normal visit. Okay, so I think that means that we're supposed to climb up and not hover, but just kind of continue to fly around. So I'm gonna slow ourselves down a little bit. We're gonna gain some altitude because we're climbing up to the top of the mountain over here. This thing's got plenty of power, especially at this speed to get us up there. But I'm trying to make sure that we don't go too fast with our climbs because we have passengers that are grading us, grading our performance here. So we're supposed to fly in the vicinity of this waypoint. Close to it. I was actually doing some random missions in the last YouTube video, and we were like 100 feet over the top of this church that we were supposed to be looking at. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't think we're supposed to be this low over a populated area, but something like this, where we're flying around these types of tourist attractions and stuff like that. Oh, and it's actually below us here, so let's go back to that other screen. I'm going to bank to the right a little bit and see what it is that we're supposed to be flying over. Those birds? Hopefully we don't strike a bird. That would suck. Okay, so it says we're out of range. And it did jump. Well, that's stupid. It jumped to the next position. But it's going up, so we're gonna just kind of hover.
Caution, terrain.
Or keep moving around here. There we go.
Vortex, vortex.
Okay. Vortex, vortex.
Vortex. Vortex, vortex. Vortex, vortex.
Pitching forward. We're good. It still says we're too fast and high. We'll continue to come down a little bit more. I thought they wanted us to climb up to the top up there.
Caution, terrain.
It would be interesting to see what...
Warning, terrain.
Yeah, be quiet. It'll be interesting to see, to maybe look and see, like, what are the parameters? What's considered too fast? Because, like, right now we're doing 55 knots. And we have 10 minutes left in this flight. We're not far from the landing pad, so I don't know how many more waypoints there are, but we'll slow up here. Let's see if we can't get closer to the destination spot. I mean, maybe you're just supposed to fly right along here. A good streamer would have flown this tour once to show you guys what it actually looks like. But I'm not a good streamer, so we should be right near the destination. We can slow up. It says we're too fast. Okay, satisfaction is rising. You can see it's up in the yellow there. Actual satisfaction is 29%. %, 44%. 54%. Let's try next waypoint now. 2 nautical miles. Waiting for that to update. Alright, coming to the right. So now we know the destination is right over by the tip of that island there. Come over the top, and we'll make sure we slow down and go nice and slow right around that corner. Let me switch back to EFB Connect. Joe, you guys, if you're on Sim Update 14 Beta, you would be able to join and fly around here. This is the BORA BORA enhancement pack, and I am on the Sim Update 14 Beta. There's an issue with multiplayer connectivity. If someone's not in the beta, they won't show up. So Brent, this is the Airbus H160. Alright, we're gonna pitch up, collective down a little bit, we're bleeding off some speed. We're gonna try and slow down. Come over to this point. Nice and slow here. Switch back and watch this other screen quick.
Check power.
Okay, this one is a point and it says hover is possible. So if we come over here, this is a spot that we can get right over or get within vicinity of it, and we can stop in a hover. If it's a normal waypoint, you're not supposed to hover, you're just supposed to go slow. But I'm assuming this is one where, like, if they wanted to be able to stop and hover, maybe take some photos, we'll work on getting their satisfaction all the way up. It's still rising here, so. As long as that keeps going up, we're going to try and milk it for all it's worth. And I'm still hand flying. I haven't engaged hover mode, but that would be like cheating. 76. 77. It probably would have helped if I would have known what that point was that we were supposed to be flying by. I was thinking we had to climb over the top, but we got 5 minutes. We're gonna say next waypoint. We got them up to 92%. All right, 1.7 on the other point of this island. So let's cruise over there. This is actual. Oh, that's for the point. Okay. kind of a cool concept, though, that you can set up different tours and stuff like that, and then I think how it grades and how it scores you, you know, once you get to know the kind of the setup here. I don't know if it's time-based or what, but actual satisfaction here is 47%. Let's see if we can get that up a little higher. Sorry, while I'm hand flying and doing this, I don't have the chat up to see what you guys are saying, but I'll try and jump back to it in a second. Alright, we got 2 minutes. 82%. Let's try the next waypoint. Well, we can either visit this next waypoint or... Oh, we don't have the option now to go back. That's alright. Let's see if we can't zoom over there quick. I wonder if this is just another trip around the island. It said it was an en route waypoint. So pull back up EFB Connect, but I mean, if I was on this helicopter tour, I'd be like, crank it up, let's go. 120 knots? Hell yeah. Let's go 160. I guess we missed that one. Says we're out of range. We're already 22 seconds over. Oh, why not? Let's turn around and go back for it. See if we can make them sick. It is another hover destination. That's why. I thought that was an en route waypoint. So the company's going to be mad at us because we're going to be airborne for more than 30 minutes. But that's alright. For our first go around, it's not too bad. I don't know what it is that they want to be seeing over here, but we'll let this rise just a little bit, and then it should give us the option to return. So this next one is return to home base. Let's see if we can give her the beans. What's up, Dragon Doll? How are you, man? 140 knots back to home. Tour completed. Return to home. Alright, so we're coming into the airport. Global satisfaction is 66. I wonder if that's going to drop. Let's see. So a couple things we got to do here quick. We'll go landing lights on now. That's our runway. Drop collective. Start slowing down. We're gonna make these guys sick. 120, gears coming down. Sorry to hear that, man. Alright, gears down, engines to idle. I remember to put my gear down. Thanks, Deputy K9. Appreciate that. Alright. You missed the respect mission time for 2 minutes. That's alright. Passenger satisfaction was 66%. Not bad for our first run through of it. Let's double check our fuel state here. Maybe we can set up our second tour of the night. Crew and payload, 50%. It'll give us some more weight, but we'll be good there. Let me see if I can catch up on any chat stuff like that. Well, I had to cut it a little closer because I didn't realize those radio towers were there. I was gonna loop around a little bit more and come in, but now that I know, we'll try and leave ourselves some more time. See if I can go back and catch some of these. Alright, so back to when Kay got in here. Base stations with Varjo, yes. Yeah, the detail they put into this one is really good. Joe, I talked to you. Brent A, this is the Airbus H160. Deputy K9. Tyler, yes, you got to get controllers and Microsoft Flight Sim for a PC. Caden, I have the Varjo Aero and the HP Reverb G2. I'm using the HP Reverb G2 tonight. Fly around that island like Murdoch from the A-Team. KJRB on the H145. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see you guys, but you had a Vietnam era pilot as a medevac pilot guy. He was a hell of a pilot. Crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. Some of the stuff that those guys did was absolutely amazing. thanks everybody for the follow so far. And I think, let me see if I can take a peek over here. Yeah, 3,600 likes so far. Appreciate that, you guys. And Deputy K9, thanks for those gifts earlier. I messed some stuff up with my system before. So some of the notifications that used to come through, they're not coming through. Oh man, we missed a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to try and restart the tour from here. So it should be en route, en route, en route, en route. And then we're supposed to do this in 30 minutes. All right. We're going to make this happen. We're going to have to move fast. Parking brake is off. All right, so these first 3 or 4 are in route waypoints. I'm going to try and leave that up for just a minute, but we'll go collective up just a little bit. Our parking brake is off. Oh, we need to go to flight mode first. Make sure our rotor RPM comes up. We're at 100, 103, 104. We should be able to start taxiing now. 2.5 to 3 is what I've found it takes for the FLI indicator for this collective. A little bit of a running start up the hill this time so we don't get stuck. We're down on the collective. Looks like we're clear to the left. We're clear to the right. Trim release is engaged, and let's depart. All right, gears up, parking brake is on. To the right a little bit here. First point should be right out here. I suppose it'll help since we kind of know where we're going. We're doing a ring all around the outside and then we come back in. So keep up with those waypoints. I'm going to switch this back to the chat so that I can pay attention to you guys. But oh yeah, decision height should probably come up a little bit more. Caden, if you didn't see, HP Reverb G2 is what I'm using right now, and I have a Varjo Aero also. But I don't use the Varjo Aero when I'm streaming anymore because the shake when you're wearing the headset that you guys would see is too much. I wonder if the other map, this might be a better one to have up. It's actually showing the different points. I suppose it makes a difference when we're just cruising at 120. Yeah, we got that one. That's good. Curris, just wanted to say how jealous I am of your setup. Thanks, man. You can get one. I mean, I think we were talking, we added it up prior to the last update I did to my computer. Like a Ryzen 5800X3D. The most expensive part in this setup is the processor. Or I'm sorry, the GPU, not the processor. You can get the 5800X3D and it runs Microsoft Flight Sim really, really well. 32 gigs of RAM, Microsoft, oh shit, birds. You know, the 4090 that I have is, what is that? Oh, it's a sailboat. That's the most expensive single piece is the 4090, but it's not something that you have to have. You could probably run on lower VR settings and do this, but it's definitely an investment, and it's not something I went out and got like all in one shot. You know, it's been years of incremental updates and adding pieces in. So even just a computer that runs Microsoft Flight Sim on a 2D screen with a set of flight controls, you know, you could get yourself set up with something that works really good, and a lot of people have a ton of fun doing that. And then just add on individual things as time goes on. Owen, how are you? It's good to see you. Pop quiz. One auto rotation happens. Is the air traveling down through the rotor blades or up through the rotor blades? Okay, so if the collective is all the way down, forward speed is actually spinning them. I think the answer is still air flowing down. Because then you're actually cutting, when you pull the collective up, you're still pushing air down to give you an envelope to settle onto. I don't know. I'm not an IRL helicopter pilot, so. Flows up because the whole unit is disconnected from learn something new every day. I've watched training videos on them. I kind of understand the concept, but the other thing is some of these helicopters in Microsoft Flight Sim,
Caution, terrain.
be quiet, don't necessarily simulate the auto rotation. To really see what you do. But if they did, or if any of them do, you can actually visualize like what's happening with the movement of the air and stuff like that. You're an A&P mechanic, by the way. That's awesome. So I am going to try and slow up here. This is where we should start getting graded. So slowing down. Dylan, we're flying the Airbus H160. So this is not a hover point, but I'm going to try and fly through here slow enough that we start gaining some satisfaction. So we're at 5%. I mean, technically this isn't a hover since we're still moving, but see if we can side slew over a little bit. If we can get this first one up, I think that'll make the other ones much better. She's mad that my gear aren't down. Because I'm actually only 30 feet above the ground. But okay, so it got up high enough that it's letting us pick the next waypoint if we want, but we're going to stay in the area. Oh, actual satisfaction is 106%. Hit next waypoint quick. Okay. Switch back over so I can see chat. Not trying to ignore you guys, but Dylan and Tyler, yeah, Airbus H160. If you guys are watching on TikTok, I'm also streaming on Twitch. And instead of the view that you get, you know, from the mobile vertical view, you can watch it in full screen. If I missed any other questions that you guys had, let me know. Trying to do this tour for our passengers in the back. Read chat and see the tour progress and shit like that. So, yeah, I gotta slow up a lot here. This one kind of snuck up on me.
Check power. Check power.
Be quiet. Got plenty of power. Vendetta HP Reverb G2. We're at 62% for this waypoint. 67. $72. 82. 92. 97. 102. 106. Next waypoint. I end up sitting up, and when I'm in my chair, like I could sit back here. When I recenter the view, though, if I don't sit up like this, like I don't have it set right, and my viewpoint actually goes through the back of the chair. Start slowing up here. Should be right over this point. Is the next spot. Giving these guys quite the tour here. 120 knots down to like 0 like that.
Check power.
Okay, so we can hover here. I wish this went up faster. I mean, we're at 15. We're basically right over the spot. It's like these houses right here. I don't know, if I lived in this house and this is part of the tour ride where they like hover over your house, I think I'd be making some phone calls. I mean, I like helicopters. I don't think I would care, but you're just sitting out on the beach trying to enjoy your multi-million-dollar home on Bora Bora, and some helicopters whizzing in and hovering right over your backyard. I would be kind of pissed off about that. We're at 70% now. Next waypoint. Okay, so this one's going to be another hover waypoint. Yeah, see, there's like 5 more spots to visit. If you didn't have to hover for like a minute over each one, you could probably make this work. But this is the first release of it, and I haven't dicked around with the settings at all. This is an en route point. Now it wants us to climb up over here. And this one's a hover point. Okay. So it should be right over this spot. We have six minutes left in this tour, and we still have like 5 waypoints. We're supposed to land at one of them. We're just gonna run through all the waypoints so I can see what they look like. I'd rather score 106 satisfaction and show up 20 minutes late than miss some of them. So it says 35. Hovers possible. 45. 50. $90, $95, all right,
You find a set of Twitch advertisements in their natural environment. Well disliked by many, their existence is vital to a natural world.
Twitch, you guys are gonna get a set of ads here, sorry. This is an en route waypoint. So let's fly close to it. Okay. Now we can turn. Close enough to that? Oh shit, there's birds. This one says it's an en route waypoint. It must be up over the top, so give her some power here and we'll climb up. We're doing alright for weight, so we've got plenty of performance to get up here. This says, make tourists happy, land the helicopter. Where? Is there an actual helipad up here? Let's figure that out quick. Gear down, landing lights on. If you think I'm gonna land the fucking helicopter, there's not a helipad up here, we're skipping that. I don't see any. Spot where I can land this. It says it's like right here. That ain't happening. There's nowhere to land here. Andrew, why would you do this to me? It's crazy. Not with this scenery. I don't get it. Where does he think we could land? Ain't happening. Somebody just gifted something. Sorry, I can't see it right now. I mean, I hope Andrew remembers, like, this is the H160. It's got wheels, there's no skids. Okay, for science. Doing this for the stream and for science. I want to see, is there enough rock formation that's flat enough at the peak of this that we could potentially set down? Oh shit, there's plenty of room. This is what we're gonna do. We'll see if it registers as us landing. Otherwise, be ready to clip this Twitch because it's gonna be fun. Okay, there's our ground effect bubble. Shit. This far forward, but we really hit that bubble. Is the satisfaction going up? Oh my god, it is. Okay, so now we know what to do next time. It's crazy. I don't have pontoons. Yeah. Shelled cookie, this is Bora Bora. Let's see if I can scroll back a little bit. Michael Woods, Windows, Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm using Windows 11 and yes, VR. I mean, we landed here, so we're getting 106% for this stop. I think the next ones are en route waypoints back to the base. We could have totally done this in time if each spot we didn't wait for it to get to 106%. Or if that timer ticked up faster. Let's take a look at the view from here anyways. Now that we know, we can approach the one much differently. Actual satisfaction, 106%. Close the doors. All right, taking off.
Check power. Check power. Check power.
I don't know where he wants us to fly low here. There's literally a rock face.
Check power.
We can try and hover right over the peak and see if that gives us the satisfaction they're looking for. Okay, so the too high warning went away. We're up to 66 now, so we'll just keep doing this. Going slow enough that it's growing or rising. Six. Next waypoint. Land at the location. Dump the collective. See if we can get to overspeed. You're joking, right? You want me to land on that little pad with those trees in the way? Made it. It's still not the end of the tour, though. That's the funny thing. Like, actual satisfaction is 31%. I wonder if we can, like, change the timing to just say, like, we need to complete the tour. See, this menu shouldn't come up, but it's giving this because we're at a base, I guess. I don't know, maybe this is where they get out. Seems kind of weird that... I'll just try and confirm next and see what happens, but... Okay, is the next location flight mode? What? Tour completed. You guys can close the doors, that'd be great. We're in flight mode, guards are engaged, landing gears down, parking brakes on, nose wheels locked. We're ready to take off and head back to Bora Bora Airport. How many does it hold? So Joe, this one is the luxury variant. Lights off. This one's the luxury variant. Let me see if I can show you a different view. Myself straight down here. So this one's got 4 seats in the back. You can see the 4 passengers there. And then the pilot, co-pilot. The civilian variant of this helicopter has like 10 seats in the back, so much more of a utility. Yeah, for the price. Should hold all that. Okay, so Bora Bora this is gonna be the airstrip. Wind's coming from behind, so we'll zoom around and circle in and yeah, once we land, I'll show you guys around the helicopter a little bit more. It's kind of hard. I'm looking around in VR and stuff like that. Can you fly at night? Yeah, so this one has, there's no NVG, but this one has SVS. It's got terrain awareness or terrain warning. So when you're in populated areas, it's a lot of fun to fly around at night because you can still see stuff. And your landing lights do work, illuminates a bunch of stuff. Slow enough, gears coming down, landing lights can come on. Yeah, it's a really, really good helicopter in Microsoft Flight Sim. It's a lot of fun to fly. So now we'll pull ourselves into a little hover at 6 feet. Set down. We'll have to get rid of our parking brake here. So gears down, parking brake is still on. Set down. Go. Unlock our nose wheel and we'll taxi back over to Passengers' global satisfaction dropped to 79%. Why? It was at like 106. Maybe they didn't like how fast I was flying at the end there. Oh, so that last ATV quad tour spot, the Tahiti Nui helicraft Pago, that was like the last waypoint. All right, parking brakes on. Let's take a look outside. Get away from that for a minute. So let's take a look at this scenery. It's kind of cool. This one's the Bora Bora Improvement Scenery by Clifford Designs. Probably gonna shut the helicopter off, but come over here and we'll take a look at the. So when you arrive by boat, restricted area. Bora Bora Airport fire engine. There's another one. Some houses and stuff over here. It's kind of cool. And the tower. Just gonna keep jumping this up to the top there. It's kind of cool. Turn the lights on. Yeah, this one's cool. So this is the H160 if you guys haven't seen it yet. From High Performance Group. This is the luxury variant. H160 for dummies. I don't know what this guy's looking at on his tablet, but it seems to be very
To find a
important.
set of Twitch advertisements in their natural environment, while disliked by many, their existence is vital to our natural world.
Nobody vomited back here, so I guess that's a good thing. It's kind of hard to show you guys around. I'm in VR. Jump back to chat here. Yeah, let's see. What did we do? Yeah, almost to 5,000 likes. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So besides doing the tours here and grabbing some more fuel, oh, wait a minute. Awesome, we can swap the Asobo pilot and co-pilot now, so if I wanted to have a doggy with me, I could. Initially, that was one of the things that was all mapped and functioning in one of the test versions, but on release it got fixed with this last patch. Taxi out a little bit. We'll just fly around the island and look around at stuff instead of feeling like we got a race to do different things, because then I can keep an eye on the chat and answer you guys' questions. Chat here. Captain Preston. Yes, we're going to fly right now. Start taxiing out. We'll get out by the runway and then we'll take off. And Dell, if you're still here, I see you. Thanks for that gift earlier. Appreciate you stopping by. Need a little running start to get over that hump there. All right. Clear on the left. Still clear on the right. You miss your desktop. You played MSFX for years growing up. Started with 2002, then 04. Yeah, I never really got into it until Flight Sim 2020 came out. I mean, I had flown them, I'd had some, but when I look now at what I have for aircraft and different stuff like that, we'll bring the gear up right now. so we don't have to worry about it. But really getting into like VR and stuff like that makes such a big difference. And being able to have a setup that I started with kind of the flight sim setup for DCS, and then I really wanted to get into flying helicopters. I actually 3D printed a set of flight controls, and they're actually pretty cool. Uses like well, there were a couple different joystick controller type things, but all the buttons worked. You know, it had Hall sensors for the movement of the cyclic and the collective, and was able to work off of a set of plans that somebody had, you know, refined and posted. So I was able to 3D print the models and then buy buttons that were compatible with the openings that they had left, switches and buttons and stuff like that. And I think I had started, this was before Microsoft Flight Sim really had any native helicopters. And so I was like, well, shit, I can't fly Microsoft Flight Sim with the helicopter. So I think I bought X-Plane 11, and then I realized what I really wanted to do was get the Huey for DCS. That was where it was at. And then once I got into DCS, it kind of took off from there. I bought my first HOTAS and had a stick and learned how to fly the F-18. You know, flew the Huey with the HOTAS controls that I had. So from there, it was kind of much more enjoyable. But then when Microsoft Flight Sim put you know, native helicopter support in with like the 10th 40th anniversary edition or Sim Update 10 or whatever it was, I came over and flew some stuff, but I was still really into DCS, and it wasn't until I needed a break from DCS that I really got into Microsoft Flight Sim. And now I have you know, all the helicopters and a bunch of the other aircraft, as far as like GA aircraft and stuff like that. Yeah, X-Plane was not a fun experience for me. Preston, can you land in a random spot? Yeah, if there's an opening or a roadway or a landing pad, you can land there. That's supposed to be a pool, so we probably shouldn't land on that, but this is the first night I've been checking out this Bora Bora improvement scenery, so I think we'll fly out to this ship. Let's see if they have a helipad on the cruise ship. Just kind of tool around and check out the Bora Bora improvement scenery here. They've done a really, really good job of the actual like boats and huts and scenery. Some of these bigger yachts, they're moving, and so with the Airbus helicopters, like with the H145 and the H160, I haven't done a lot of practice with the GTC stuff, but you can actually match the moving ship's ground speed with the helionic system. Yeah, the Bell 430 and the 222. So there's a 412, and now there's a free 429 for Microsoft Flight Sim that's still in early stages. I mean, it's better than some of the ones that I've seen with their initial releases. But I'm kind of partial to the Hype Performance Group stuff. So we are almost directly into the wind right now, and there is a helipad up there. We can circle around, and we'll come in and land on that helipad. Disengage my upper modes. Start slowing down and spinning around here. But there's a ton of great helicopters in Flight Sim 2020 now, so all the Cohen Sim stuff is good. It's been a while since they've had any updates, but they were released pretty solid. Not too much that was wrong with them necessarily. And this 160 is still new. I mean, I think it's been out for a couple weeks now, less than a month. But they did such a good job with this one. It's gotten a couple patches so far of things that have been cleaned up and fixed and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I fly the H145 a lot with like the medevac missions as well. Alright, gears coming down, landing lights are on. Hopefully we don't fall through this. I'm assuming it's all solid and there's enough room for us here, but you never know. There's actually a light on it, so it's designed to hold. At night this would show up and be illuminated. For a second I thought we were falling right through. We made it. It's a much bigger landing pad than it looked from the air. Can I show the outside of the heli? Yeah. Gear up. Circle back over to the island and check out some more of the scenery here. Can you auto rotate? I think they're working on some stuff. I don't know that there's a way to truly like trigger the engine cutoff right now, other than causing a failure. Some of the helicopters will actually do that. I haven't tried it with this one. At one point we were trying it one night on stream when I was streaming on Twitch in the H145, and you could kind of do it, but it wasn't handling like it should have. CK Aviation, this is the Hype Performance Group Airbus H160 for Microsoft Flight Sim. The Hype Performance Group has a free H135 for Microsoft Flight Sim, and that one is just like old initial, you know, kind of custom coded, not using the native helicopter support. it's remained compatible, but from a development standpoint, the developers have said like it is not up to the level that the H145 and the H160 are. So both the Airbus H145 and H160 that they've released have like the native Microsoft Flight Sim helicopter support, everything that they can simulate using the native system is there, and then it's got a ton of custom coding for the avionics system. So the helionics and the Airbuses are a significant part of flying them. And just I'll show you kind of some of the stuff if you're not familiar with the Airbuses. But so right now we're flying with the stability augmentation system enabled, SAS, and then the autopilot is kind of just engaged. It's the standard, we have control, we can bring ourselves up and down right now, adding in collective, pitching up, making some adjustments, but it's trimmed in the attitude that I have it. When I press the trim release button, I can change the attitude of the helicopter, release trim release, and it holds it. So if I wanted to have a gradual banking left turn, I can set this here, and now trim release is going to hold, the autopilot system is going to hold it in that. So anytime you're manipulating the controls, the trim release gets held, and that's authentic and accurate to how the actual helicopter itself flies. And then it has upper modes. So if I get us kind of set here, trimmed out, and we're flying straight and level, I can engage my altitude and indicated airspeed hold. So my altitude's going to hold at like 780 there. And it's added collective and pitched us down a little bit to speed us up to about 115 or 110 knots there. If I turn on the heading hold, so heading hold is now engaged, and I can use beep trim to adjust these things. So if I want to turn to the right, I can beep the heading over to that. If I want to raise the altitude that we're flying at, I can beep the altitude up to 1,000, and it's going to utilize the helionics and the autopilot system to make adjustments and move the cyclic and collective to keep me in there. So a lot of automation with this, and it's accurate to how the actual helicopters fly. Cody, we are flying in Bora Bora. We're checking out a new scenery. I'm going to actually disengage all of these upper modes and take over manual control again, but we're flying in Bora Bora here, and this is the Bora Bora Improvement Scenery by Clifford Designs. I got it from I&I Builds, but it's available for, it's one of the paywares on flightsim.to or through the I&I shop. There might be a couple other places that it's available, but he's gone in and fixed the terrain, the mapping of the terrain heights, fixed a bunch of the buildings, added in ships. There's sailboats and moving ships that have paths. There's animals and stuff, so somewhere in here we're flying around, you might see some whales jumping out of the water, which is kind of cool. Nathan, can I have your old setup? I'm gonna play this so bad and I just can't afford it. I gotta fight my kid for it. He usually gets my old parts as things get updated, so I was just talking to him about that. He's like, I don't really want anything for Christmas. I'm like, well, that's cool, but no, really, what do you want? And he's like, maybe just the old parts for your computer. I'll update mine at some point. Thanks, Cody.
500.
Appreciate that. So this scenery is really cool. It's running good. I mean, I haven't looked at my FPS counter. I kind of judge it as to whether it starts to look glitchy for me in the headset. If the computer's having a hard time keeping up with live streaming to Twitch and TikTok and run the VR headset in the game, which is a pretty heavy lift, I can usually do that in most areas in Microsoft Flight Sim. Some sceneries and some planes are not quite as good, and the performance suffers, and it's not quite as smooth, but this one's been running really good, so he did a great job of adding in features that don't kill your performance off either, which is awesome. Trying to remember where that was. Somewhere here there's... Well, I'm looking for the whales. Oh, right there. Get down closer. As we fly by here, you guys can see this. See the whale jumping out? It's pretty sweet. Complete refund. Hi. I don't know if this one, we should try this. Drop collective and slow ourselves down here. This one's moving. Now what I don't know is what path it's on. And if they have a big enough helipad. Some of these boats have helipad landing spots on them, and some don't. But fine, put my gear down. I don't know if this one's gonna have one. Or if it does, it might be a H145 size landing pad. This is a big helicopter. Yeah, I don't think they really have a landing pad on that one. We'll have to check some of the other ships around here to see if they have helipads on them. A couple of them did. That guy's not rich enough to have one on his. So if we listen to the wind sock, it says the wind's coming from this direction. But according to this, do they match now? They do match. windsock says it's coming from our right at a different angle than. Oh, maybe it matches up. Okay. It's almost directly behind us now. So if we wanted to come in here and land, theoretically, oh, we had plenty of room back there. That guy just had to move. It'd be kind of cool to come in and land like a little MD500 on that trailer. Parking brake still on, gear still down, trim release. Let's take off from my gear lever. There it is. Chipster, thanks for the follow. What's up, David? We've been flying around Bora Bora here. So this is the Bora Bora improvement scenery. They added in some of these parked sailboats, some of the ships flying around. Some of the ships are stationary, some of them are on paths, so they actually move. There's birds and whales, and the scenery's all fixed. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I just posted a YouTube video this morning. We were talking about the mission for the tour, like the tourist type things, and so we've been flying around. We did a couple of the Bora Bora tour. I think we figured out that there's no freaking way that you could get from waypoint 1 to 14 and back in the amount of time that you're supposed to. Now, it could be that waypoint 1 through waypoint 14 is what your 30-minute flight is supposed to do, but we were just kind of messing around with that, flying that. Yeah, this is the H160. The big chunky one. But yeah, it's awesome. So we're flying it with the TDS GTN-XIs. This one, you can tell the difference immediately because the 145's got 3 MFDs in it and this one's got 4. But yeah, it's a great looking helicopter. So the guy that did this scenery, Clifford Designs, actually released this livery as well. But yeah, we we've just been kind of tooling around Bora Bora here. It's given us something to do, couple tours. Just getting used to the helicopter too. I mean, it's amazing, you know, hours and hours and hours in the H145. And
We find the set.
when I set this up and started flying this, when I first got the preview copy, when I was doing those videos, I had to fix a couple keybinds because I was using H145 specific things in my SPAD profile. And so I just went over to the default binding instead of a specific binding for the H145, and everything is mapped almost identical. There's a couple things like landing gear that you don't have on the 145, but it flies really, really good. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do next. I mean, they have some stuff in the pipeline that they're working on. I think the H160 getting this, you know, there's the initial stuff that comes after the release that they've been working on. I think it'll be a couple months until we see the action pack for this. I'm hoping that with the success of some of the guides that I did and having an early access preview of this helicopter, that I can convince them, considering our history on the channels of doing action pack related stuff, that we get an early preview of that, and I can show you guys that as it's approaching its release. But they've kind of said that, you know, the H160 is only one of the things that they have in the future, and they, I think, handled this one good. They kept it quiet until they had to say something, and I actually can appreciate them, you know, getting ready to release a helicopter and not saying, yeah, this is what we're going to put out next, but we have no idea when we're going to be done. And then everybody asks for like a year while a new helicopter's in development. What's the status on that? When's this coming out? How come you didn't do this one? You know, this, I think they waited about 2 to 3 weeks before they were ready to have it launched, before they started releasing some info. And I like that approach better, where they've got a quietly tested product that doesn't have everybody talking about, you know, that thing that might not come for a year and a half or 2 years. I think that's one of the problems the developers have. They want to build excitement around their product, but a lot of people lose interest over time because they're waiting so long for it. Because I'm trying to think, like, I think there's 2 different developers that have said that they're working on the MH60 or the UH60. I think Tog said that after he's done with his Huey, so he's got the Llama and the Alouette and the Huey, and then I think he's working on a Dolphin. He wants to do one of those, so it'll be interesting to see what comes from this, and it'll be interesting to see who can deliver these helicopters before, you know, Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 comes out, because as much as they've said there's going to be compatibility, some of the developers might want to leverage some of the new functionality that comes with that before they release anything, and I understand that, but it's going to probably delay things. Yeah, the Dolphin, it's what the Coast Guard runs, yes. Landing light on and put our gear down. There's one of these spots up here that was part of the tour that we had to land at. I'm gonna find that peak again and see if we can sit down up there. Can't remember if it was the tallest peak over there. It was. Oh shit. Is that a hang glider? Where did he go? That was sick. Traffic.
Check power. Vortex. Vortex.
Yeah, we just got in the vortex ring state. There we go, we saved it. Now, where did we land before? It's right on that peak. Oh shit, here's this guy right here. Is he moving or is he stationary? No way. That's sick. And that's a bird. Or is that another hang glider? Who knew you'd have to watch out for hang gliders? That's a bird. That's like a flamingo. Flapping his wings. Alright, let's see if we can set down the helicopter up here again. Probably not super realistic, but be a hell of a tour. We just hit that ground effect right there. A little harder than I wanted to touchdown, but we made it. Oh, that guy's moving. No wonder why we didn't see him the first time we came up here. It's crazy. Yeah, so here's the cool thing. I'm gonna take off here. Go backwards. The cool thing with this tourist mission kind of set up for the civilian and luxury variants of the helicopter is you can set up different tours and a collection of waypoints and stuff that you have to go and do. Let's see if we can
Check power.
everybody's sick. Not you guys, I mean the occupants of the helicopter.
500.
Maximum speed.
Yeah, max speed, max speed.
Maximum speed. Maximum speed. Maximum speed. Maximum.
Be quiet.
$500.
I don't know if they puked back there or not, but I heard a sound. Somebody did something. Somebody gifted something. David sent that gem gun in the heart me. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I know. I would have been having fun doing that too. It's a fun helicopter to fly, and it, you know, weight-wise, it feels heavier than the H145, but it still handles pretty good. So. All right, David, I don't know. Well, you probably weren't here when I was talking about it before. Let me take that and set it there. I'll reset the view. Oh, hang on. Let's see if we can't do this quick. Still in flight mode. We are. Trying to shut everything down. Can't see it. I know what we can do. Let's do this. Hopefully it doesn't crash the sim. There we go. All right, FMS.
Audio test.
These guys can go to off. So I was talking earlier about, oops, we need to come back here. This needs to be off. I was talking earlier about kind of what's been going on recently, because I haven't been able to stream delays are off. I think we're good. So now we don't have that crazy sound and stuff like that. But so I got a Varjo Aero headset, and for the last couple of weeks I've been trying to figure out how to stream to Twitch and TikTok using the Varjo Aero, and it hasn't really been working because when I wear the headset that I was wearing tonight, there's some input smoothing with it. So when I'm flying around and wearing the headset and looking around, it gets rid of all the little micro stutters and little minute head movements that happen when you're wearing the VR headset. I don't see the movement, but it's exaggerated for you guys. Like when I talk, my head shakes around. When you can even see like the pulsing in your temples occasionally when you're wearing it, when it's super precise. And the Varjo Aero is a great headset. It looks awesome. The performance is great, but with the HP Reverb G2 headset, there's a setting in OpenXR Toolkit that you can deaden some of that. It's called like over prediction reduction. And so it smooths it out. I have forgotten the landing gear. Yes. But now that I got the HP Reverb G2 out to do the video that I recorded last night, I kind of figured out, like, if I'm going to stream Microsoft Flight Sim in VR, I've got to be using the HP Reverb G2. The performance is there with this sim and with my setup, and so everything's been running great tonight. I've got TikTok and Twitch chat on the tablet in both the H145 and the H160. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, if I want to fly something else, but it's a good, I guess it's a good thing that I've figured out kind of where I'm at. So expect more YouTube videos, more Twitch streams, and more TikTok lives now that I know, like, it's probably not going to work until they come up with some sort of smoothing for when you're capturing that. I'll have to look around and see if there's any other stuff, but I love the Varjo Aero headset from the view that it gives you, but it's not that great. It's not that great for streaming. So Chicago spotter. So we were actually flying the H160, the new Hype Performance Group helicopter, and we're in Bora Bora, and we were doing, this is the luxury variant of it. So we were doing tourist operations, which it's a little bit different. It doesn't have all the animations like the action pack for the H145 has yet, because the H160 action pack has not been released. But this tourist thing is actually super cool. The developer of it came in. It's Andrew, the same guy that was doing the random and everywhere EMS mission stuff, and he set up a tourist operation. So when you're in the cabin and you go in here, you can say, I want to do a 30-minute flight, or in this case, like, he posted a Bora Bora tour. So this Bora Bora tour actually has all the different waypoints pre-programmed in, and you can start your tour from here, and then the timer starts, and you're supposed to fly along the route. And when you get to some of these locations, they're like tourist spots where you're supposed to fly really slow, orbiting the area, so that the people can have an aerial tour of it. And then a couple of them, like, you can hover, and then there were 2 or 3 different spots where they want you to go land. And so you can actually set up long tours. And like David was suggesting, it'd be cool to do a Grand Canyon tour where you take off from a certain airfield, and then there's waypoints that you're supposed to fly to, and you've got a certain amount of time to get it done. And so we'll be doing some more of this stuff, similar to the EMS and firefighting missions, until the action pack comes out for the H160.